I am occasionally accused of being too negative in my coverage of Eurovision. This is perhaps the number one reason I see on social media for people not wanting to engage with my videos, and the number one criticism. Today I'm here to say, fair enough, yes, sometimes maybe I am a little too negative. For that reason, I'm going to try and redress the balance a little bit, and give you at least one reason to be optimistic, or one thing I really like about every single entry from Eurovision this year. These reasons are going to vary depending on what elements stick out to me from each performance, but I'm going to say something nice about everyone. While we're on the topic of addressing criticisms, all the people who are frustrated at me not going in alphabetical order in my tier list videos will be delighted to know today that's exactly what I'm going to do. That means we're starting with Albania. The story behind Alice's song, None, is beautiful and it's universal. While the song is about the pain of mothers whose children move abroad for a better life, the message can be felt by any parent whose children have left home. Now, as well, we know that that message is going to come across to the people watching at home, because Albania is planning to have subtitles under their performance. Having those subtitles transformed this for me from a song that didn't really move me initially to one that made me really emotional. And there will surely be a great many people all across Europe who are going to feel the same. With this one tiny detail alone, in my opinion, their qualification is secure. Armenia. Simon has managed to do fairly well with the running order, with his song Paloma Rumba coming just after Czechia and Luxembourg. For people who hate ballads, this is going to hit like a breath of fresh air, because whether you like it or not, it's energetic, it's silly, and it's a nice tonic after the slower and more serious energy of the songs that precede it. Also, the bridge in this has actually grown on me quite a lot. If you can create enough tension there, then the final speed up and chorus at the end could be really impactful. This one could end up going through to the final after all. Australia. Delta Goodrem is an unbelievable, and I mean unbelievable, singer. Criticisms around this entry, including my own, may be potentially missing the point here. Sure, this isn't particularly outlandish or unusual musically, but for Delta, you just need to provide an essentially blank canvas for her and then let the magic happen on stage. To do something conventional and still do well at Eurovision, you have to be the best at it. And if any vocalist is capable of delivering to a world-class standard in this field, it's Delta Goodrem. This impression has only been strengthened for me as Delta has gone on her press tour, which seems to involve setting up shop at random places in London and belting the vocal out, just to remind us that yes, she really is that good. Congratulations, Australia, because you're coming back to the final and you may actually end up with more than just that. Austria. Host entries have no pressure. They're in the final already and participating for a country that honestly probably doesn't want to win again. What they do need to be is fun and likable and matching the energy that Eurovision is trying to bring. In that sense, Cosmo is a perfect ambassador. His enthusiasm is so infectious and his song is the right blend of silly and serious. You get a funny dance and you get social commentary about the behavior of men in nightclubs, and it's all wrapped into one neat package. It's perfect that this song is going to be closing the final. It's a bit of fun, it gets everyone loose, and hopefully will bring about the now traditional conga lines in the green room. Whether he gets 1 point or 100, in my opinion, this is already a success for him personally. I really hope he does get at least 1 point. Azerbaijan. What I will say here is that the expectations for this are in the basement of the basement, and that means number one, the pressure is off for Jiva, and number two, any kind of competitive performance will be considered a success. She is a really accomplished vocalist, so maybe she can still do something here. Also, the little bit more cover she did of We Could Be the Same by Mango was really fun. It kind of felt like she would have much rather have sung a rock song, to be honest. Belgium. Of all the countries that maybe need some positivity this week, Belgium is the one that needs it the most. That's after Esila gave a much criticised live performance of her song on The Voice in the country. Even she admitted that it wasn't up to scratch. That said, it's within that response that I'm choosing to feel optimism at the moment. She is absolutely insistent that she knows she can do much better, and that she will next time. Luckily for her, the opportunity to change that narrative is coming up really fast, because it's Eurovision in concert this weekend, and then London Eurovision party the weekend after. That's our first chance to see how many of these songs are going to translate to the stage, and hopefully for Esila's sake and for fans of the song, we'll see what she's really capable of this coming weekend and put her back in the conversation. Her steadfast belief in her own abilities is giving me confidence too for now. Bulgaria. I'm so relieved that we seem to be closer to 2016 to 21 Bulgaria in Eurovision than to 2022 Bulgaria. When it comes to qualification, Dara is probably in the safety zone, and fans of Dara and of Bangaranga have plenty of reasons to feel very good about how things are looking just a few weeks from the show. The song has gone down well on TikTok in particular and is running rings around everyone else in terms of its use there. It's clearly been written with this in mind, so we can chalk that up as a success already. As well as that, all of us can admit that this is ridiculously catchy. The real wild card here, though, and the source for excitement, in my opinion, is Dara herself. She's a massive star in Bulgaria. She has years of performance experience behind her, and she's crafted a visual identity as well. The best case scenario for this, then, is really good, and to be honest, I feel more confident about its chances of qualifying by the day. Croatia. Lelek are one of a kind in this contest. There's no other vocal group which is performing anything vaguely similar to what they're doing. And if Europe's televoters deliver in the semi-final for them in any way like they did for Tautamatas from Latvia last year, which is really the closest analog we have for this, then you might see this do way better than expected. We do have a tough field of vocal powerhouses this year, but I still think Croatia has a potentially really large upside on the basis that the kind of vocals they're doing are so different and so unique. If there's any fairness in the world, they'll get some reward for that. Cyprus. I've been hoping for a song like Jala for some time, and I'm really glad that Antigone has brought it for us. There has been some concern over her vocal performance at Nordic Eurovision Party, but to be honest, I think this is misplaced. There are exceptions where pre-party performances become important, but it's only really if, like Belgium, you have something to prove, or if you have a situation where something so bad happens that it makes everyone go, hang on, can they sing the song? That's a kind of Mia and Dion 2023 situation. This one was nowhere near that. And also, it really wasn't that bad to start with. She delivered the song well enough, she demonstrated that it's within her capabilities, and in mid-March, 6 to 7 weeks away from the contest, that's all that matters. We've had many sudden panics about vocal performances from internally selected artists at this point in the season before. Most of them got it together and sounded good on the night. I think Antigone will too, and we're going to get a great performance in May. For now, no need to worry. Even in the worst case scenario, if things aren't perfect, I still think the performance is going to be enough to get her through to the final. Because the song is quality, she has the stage performer's charisma, and she has prior dancing experience as well. There is zero reason to panic. Czechia. There are a few different reasons to be happy this year if you're the Czechs, but nothing comes close to the return of the juries to the semi-finals, who will surely richly reward a song like this to the extent that televoting performance doesn't really matter all that much. Daniel Žižka's live performance remains a mystery for now, but within 24 hours of this video coming out, we will know better. That's because this is going to be live for the first time at Eurovision in concert this weekend. That said, based on the limited available evidence we already have from acoustic covers he's done of other people's songs in the past and prior performances, it looks like we could get something really special. His vocal control is excellent and he's not resorting to belting in the way we see a lot of people do with songs like this one. Typically, this translates into a better result when the final crunch comes. This is a good staging away from a top 10 finish overall and top 5 with the juries, which would be so richly deserved. Denmark. If you're Danish, then you should probably already be celebrating your best result in Eurovision in years, definitely since at least 2018. That's because what we left the national final with was easily good enough to clear that standard already. The question is whether it can be elevated any further and become a Eurovision winner. Søren is good enough in my view as a performer, and I would argue that the song can be made good enough too, provided that the magic can be kept when adapting the staging from the national selection to the stage in Vienna. There's absolutely no reason why this can't go all the way. Estonia. I love the country of Estonia very deeply. The country of Estonia loves Vanilla Ninja very deeply. When it comes to the rest of Europe, the Estonians will be looking to tap into the same constituency of people that helped Vanilla Ninja get to this point. That's the kind of 2000s throwback nostalgia. There are still plenty of people who really love this stuff. This is anecdotal, but everyone I know who has played all of the Eurovision songs to their parents and to friends in their 40s and 50s have found a surprisingly positive response to this. If enough of them pick up their phone and vote, and statistically people of that age are more likely to vote in these things, then maybe this could just sneak its way through to the final. If it does do that, I think it would tell us a lot about what the voting constituency when it comes to Eurovision actually is, and whether it's very different to what we imagine it to be. All is not yet lost, and Estonia can have a sliver of hope. What I will say is if Estonia makes it through, you will see me on stream the next day with clown music on, acknowledging just how wrong I was about it. Finland. I've got to be honest, I really don't think you need me to list all of the different reasons why Finland should be feeling optimistic right now. They're first in the odds, they're first in every fan poll, and as it stands, with the results of some of the fan clubs voting coming in as well, they're first there too. The streak of Petter and Linda having praise lavished on them from literally every corner seems to be likely to continue. The only way you could really get more optimistic at this stage would be if the EBU says that Linda can play the violin live, which as it stands is still unclear. I would encourage Finns to keep their excitement under control though, because as good as things look now, everything can always change in the blink of an eye, whether it's a great rehearsal or a terrible one. In any case, right now they have a stunning winner-contender act, and they should be really happy about it. France. Much like Finland, hopefully the reasons to be optimistic here are extremely obvious. Second in the odds, good results in the fan polls, and an absolutely unbelievable singer in the form of Monroe are all things to be very happy about. Despite her young age, Monroe has proven her opera credentials, and I would be very surprised to see anything less than perfection in the live performance. Having watched back a lot of the other things she's done in the past, she has that extraordinary quality to be almost robotic in her consistency when it comes to live performance. Even among professionals, that's extremely rare. Can pure opera win the contest? Well, we're going to have to wait and see because this song will tell us. But at the very least, a jury victory is surely a realistic prospect, or at least something close to it. Georgia. There's something really sweet about the fact that Bezicaby's effort this year has the same songwriter as their winning song from Junior Eurovision in 2008. In addition to that, Giga Kujanidze has avoided the previous mistakes that he's made when writing Eurovision songs, because the lyrics in English actually kind of makes sense this time. Bezicaby have grown a lot since then, and I think no matter what happens, Eurovision fans are going to really appreciate them having a kind of homecoming like this. I'm relieved as well that the song is catchy, it's competitive, and if the live performance delivers, it will have a good chance of making it through. Fingers crossed. Germany. If there's one person who isn't going to be fazed at all by the competition element of Eurovision, then it's Sarah Engels. She came second on Deutschland sucht den Superstar, won The Masked Singer, and Dancing on Ice. An unfortunate occurrence in Eurovision is that sometimes artists start performing within themselves when the reality of being in that competitive environment sets in. I'm not expecting that to be a problem here. What you have in Sarah Engels is someone who has a proven record of reliably delivering when it comes to a performance, regardless of the format and regardless of the pressure of competition. If others in a similar lane fall short, then an angle does open up for Germany to start picking up some points. Greece. Much like France and Finland, the Greeks have so much to be optimistic about this year. The song is catchy as hell, Achilles can perform it live, and it's caught the imaginations of Eurofans both inside and outside of Greece. This is in the conversation to win the televote both in the semi-final and the final, and if he can do that, there's no reason why Greece shouldn't be in the conversation to win the whole thing outright. It is such a good time to be a Greek Eurovision fan, and I haven't seen them this excited about anything in years. It's well-deserved and the sky is the limit. I've got my eyes on hotels in Thessaloniki and in Athens already. Israel, they're not going to win. Italy, Sal Da Vinci is just so precious, and I'm not sure what we did to deserve such a ray of sunshine like him. Everything about him just exudes happiness and joy, and it's really nice to see how the fandom has embraced that. I am particularly susceptible to songs about being in love at the moment. More on that later. And this just hits that note perfectly for me. And, of course, it's generated one of the best memes of Eurovision season so far. This is going to give so many people the same warm and joyful and fuzzy feeling in May that it's giving all of us now. And so hopefully a good result is coming. Latvia. Latvia is one of the countries that's maybe bouncing around the edges in terms of qualification, but the return of juries in the semi-finals gives me a lot more hope for this. They will surely respond to Atvara's stunning voice, and that combined with hopefully getting the really powerful and bleak story of the song across could bring about a third straight qualification for Latvia. Regardless of whether it does or not, Latvia has done the most important thing of all, which is once again send an entry that is really true to them and to their music scene. Lithuania. This song is divisive and weird and avant-garde. For a Eurovision song, I'd argue in many ways that that's a very, very good thing. If your song is divisive enough that people adore it or hate it, then the people who adore it are much more likely to pick up the phone and vote. This combined with Lion Seeker saying that this will be one of the most technically advanced stagings in Lithuania's history has gotten me excited, and more than a few people might end up being surprised by this when we get to May. Luxembourg. Even though it's a tough journey for Luxembourg, there are still reasons to be cheerful, and there are things that are really nice about this song and performance. Eva Maria is really good at capturing this kind of childlike wonderment in the choruses in particular. And if that's something that connects with the European public, then yes, absolutely this can make the final. Also, violins are in fashion this year. Malta. If you like songs that are dramatic and bring a Bond-esque feel, then there aren't many better fits for you than this one. Aiden's voice has a quality that fits perfectly to this kind of assignment. And I have to say, it's also really nice to see that it's quite different to his past attempts. That's not to say I don't love Ritmu and Regina, because I do, but it's really nice to see someone who has the talent to do something totally different and execute it just as well. I also think there's something to say for people who really adore Eurovision being in the contest. You can really feel how important it is to them personally, and that you're witnessing a dream being realized. That is a really, really special thing to witness. Moldova. I could, and in fact have, spoken at length about everything I love about Viva Moldova and about Satoshi, but it's always a pleasure to have another opportunity to do so. This is such an authentically Moldovan piece of self-expression that speaks not only for one man, but for an entire generation of Moldovans who feel and see themselves as European too, and who not only wish but demand their place among the European family. That message, combined with the joy and the energy of this song and performance, makes this one that will stay very close to my heart and hopefully score really, really well with the public. Montenegro. Way back in December, I hoped that Montenegro would lean into the scary, witchy vibe that this song is exuding. Luckily, that's exactly what they've done if the minor revamp is anything to go by. It leans into all the right tropes alongside the music video, and hopefully there are some clever staging tricks next month that can see that translated onto the big stage at Eurovision 2. Tamara has sounded really solid at all of the performances she's done to this point, so we are still very much in the running for a first Montenegrin qualification in very many years. Norway. Norway has drawn an amazing running order position, as they will be last in semi-final 2. This is going to really help what was already a pretty good situation for them, in my opinion. They have a really great live performer with a song that is straightforward but catchy and accessible, and the lightweight channeling of Måneskin and Freddie Mercury is something that fuses together quite nicely. I genuinely think people are underestimating the qualification chance of this quite significantly. Poland. Alicia has a superb voice, which she has repeatedly demonstrated over several attempts at going to the contest, and this song probably gives her more opportunities than most before to demonstrate just how good that voice is. That, in turn, could still be an X factor for her. You shouldn't ever underestimate how far a stunning vocal performance can get you. If anyone can do that, she can. I'm ready to be proven wrong about this. Portugal. With apologies for being so mushy, one of the best feelings in the world is surprising your significant other with roses. I'm still basking in the afterglow of proposing to my fiancée in September, and quite frankly, I was always going to be susceptible to a song like this. That's been rather amplified by the fact that the chorus is literally about seeing a rose in the garden and it reminding you of your true love. Again, sorry for the mush, I know the feeling. If this qualifies, I'm gonna be completely in bits. Romania. Romania have soared up the odds recently, and it's easy to see what the appeal of this is. It reminds me so much of bands like Nightwish that I used to listen to when I was a kid. Alexandra Capătănescu has now repeatedly demonstrated that she can deliver this live, and that means that this will have the moment in the sun that it deserves. It stands out from the other rock and metal songs here, and it has appeal both to the juries and the public, so hopefully it'll be rewarded. San Marino. The chorus of this is quite catchy, and I'm always going to have a little soft spot in my heart for Senet's seemingly relentless positivity. As well as that, Adrenalina was great in 2021. She is a superstar, and she deserves to take to the Eurovision stage without anyone else distracting from that. Serbia. I love how moody this is. It gives a totally unique energy that nothing else has, and that's before you hit the last minute and the vocals start to turn into growls. That's really what makes this song for me, and because you never get that much of that in Eurovision each year, it instantly gives it a point on which it stands out. As well as that, a perfect running order spot by coming last in its semi has all but assured qualification. Sweden. This is the kind of EDM banger that I'm delighted to see in Eurovision, and it seems that Red Sebastian may well be about to be avenged in style. The only thing better than the song here is Felicia's backstory, which is a remarkable tale of inner strength and of good people triumphing over those who want to exploit them. I covered that at length in my previous video about the Swedish national selection. She's going to do really well in May, but to be honest, by being here, she has already won. Switzerland. Switzerland have taken a really different and, in my opinion, very brave path at the contest this year by sending something that on the surface is a mismatch for the competition. That's one of the things that charms me the most about this, and where I become most hopeful for its chances. Sometimes by totally rejecting the accepted logic of the contest, you end up with something that people find really authentic and connect with on a level that maybe the general consensus at the minute can't see. It would be really good for the contest if that happened to Veronica Fusaro in a few weeks' time. Ukraine. Ukraine's continued participation in Eurovision is a story of resistance in and of itself, and so is Leleka's backstory. Not just in the context of the country she's from, but also in the context of her own personal struggles with her mental health. To hear something so optimistic and bright from a person and a country that have gone through an astonishing amount of trauma and pain is really, really special. I think a lot of people are going to find themselves hit by this emotionally in a way they didn't expect before it took to the the stage. Finally, we have the UK. This is the most British entry we've had in years, and for obvious reasons, I am extremely emotionally invested in this one. I literally made a video with Look Mum No Computer last week, after all. This is hopefully going to be the entry that emboldens the BBC to make more brave choices and take more risks. This is way outside of their usual envelope, and being rewarded for that means we'll see more entries in years to come that truly represent this country, as this song does. Also, in the time since that video came out, Look Mum No Computer has had a baby, who is quite brilliantly named Max Battle. Now we've come to the end, and we must all face the reality that we will never ever have names that sound as cool as Max Battle. Thank you as always for watching, and make sure you're subscribed as Vienna is just a few weeks away and we have so much planned. For now, take care, and I'll see you again very soon.